The history of Man City. For the last few decades, Man City have been a juggernaut in the world of European football. The only side in English football history to have won 4 consecutive top-flight titles. They also became only the second team in English history to win a treble when they completed the feat in 2023. Once described as the noisy neighbours by Manchester United manager Sir Alex Ferguson, City are on course to become one of the most successful clubs in the world of football. However, their journey to the top of the game hasn't been the easiest. In this video, let us take you back all the way to the beginning. Let's explore the club's origins and the different milestones which have made Man City one of the biggest clubs in the world. The beginnings. 2 years after the formation of Manchester United in 1878. In 1880, a rival club in Manchester was born with the early formations of Manchester City. First known as St. Mark's, the club changed its name to the Ardwick Association Football Club in 1887, before the name of Manchester City was decided upon in 1894. Having been a part of the English Football League pyramid since 1892, success didn't arrive early for the newly formed club, with players and fans of the team having to wait until 1899 until the club won their first piece of silverware, when they captured the second division title. Earning promotion to England's top division for the first time, City ensured that they would forever own the bragging rights over rivals Man United when they became the first team from Manchester to win the FA Cup, winning it for the very first time in 1904. With City looking on course to becoming one of England's biggest clubs, the club would become embroiled in a financial scandal which would see multiple players suspended and legendary captain Billy Meredith moving to Manchester United, and City's progress was halted. Worse would follow in 1920. A fire would rip through the stands of their Hyde Road Stadium, forcing City to move into a new home, Main Road, which would remain the club's permanent home until 2003. City earned their first Division I title in the 1930s. After yo-yoing up and down between the first and second divisions throughout the 1910s, 20s, and 30s, City tasted very little success, with their only titles coming courtesy of second division titles in 1910 and 1928 and another FA Cup in 1934. Still looking to win England's highest league honour, City's moment of glory finally arrived when they won the first division title in 1937. Once again looking set to dominate the English football landscape, more financial strife would mean that City would have to wait another 31 years until they would get their hands on the Division I title again. The Roaring 60s will forever be remembered as City's golden period. If you ask any City fan, they will say that one of the proudest moments in their club's history was back in the 1960s. Often referred to as the club's golden age, City would win their second First Division title in 1968 and their second Charity Shield. The glory would continue in 1969 when the team would capture a 4th FA Cup success before they would break new ground by winning their first ever League Cup in 1970. Having won every domestic trophy on offer, the only thing missing from the City trophy cabinet was a European title. But that would be added in the 1970 season when City were able to win the European Cup Winners' Cup when they defeated Polish side Górnik Zabrze 2-1. Legends of that era are still fondly remembered, with Colin Bell, Alan Oakes, Mick Summerbee, and Francis Lee, all forever assured of their place in club history. The start of City's decline and relegation from the Premier League. As has been City's way when the team looks set to dominate, problems usually arise. Unable to follow up their Division I success or replicate their success in Europe, financial mismanagement yet again struck the club, and once again the team would yo-yo between Division I and Division II. With no more silverware to mention between the 1970s and 1980s, City were able to climb back into Division I and were one of the founding members of the Premier League. Often desperate to stave off relegation, City survived in the Premier League by the skin of their teeth. But in the 1995-96 season, City's luck would run out and they would be relegated from the Premier League. With Manchester United dominating the Premier League, City were a sinking ship, and despite their huge support and size, the club were unable to balance the books, and in 1998 they faced further jeopardy when they were relegated to the third tier of English football. The road to recovery begins. Heading into the 1998-99 season, many believed that City would win the second division at a canter. But after a difficult season, City were only able to achieve promotion via the playoffs. Squaring off against Gillingham, City's 3-1 penalty victory over the Gills still remains one of the club's most pivotal moments, with Kevin Horlock and Paul Dickoff scoring 2 goals in added time to take the game into extra time and penalties. The match will forever be remembered by Nicky Weaver producing heroics in goal to cement their promotion. Now back in the first division, the club then secured a second consecutive promotion and were promoted back to the big time. However, their stay in the Premier League would be short as another relegation would follow in 2000 and 2001. But the appointment of Kevin Keegan would see City smash past their first division rivals, and once again they would be promoted to the top flight. From here, they would become a Premier League mainstay. Despite qualifying for Europe at the end of the 2002-2003 season, Keegan would fail to replicate the same heroics, and he would be replaced by Sven-Göran Eriksson. The Swede's reign would be nothing short of disastrous, and he would be replaced by Mark Hughes in 2008. However, a new chapter in City's history was about to begin. And if you want to start a new chapter with your YouTube viewing, make sure you sign up and subscribe to Footy Flicks today. 2008 sees City purchased by the Abu Dhabi Group. Success is soon to follow. In 2008, with City teetering once again on the brink of financial ruin, the Abu Dhabi Group would take over just before the season would begin, plundering riches and finances into the club that would soon become the envy of clubs all over the world. Willing to commit to huge spending, exciting talents such as Robinho, Carlos Tevez, Sergio Aguero, Vincent Kompany, Gareth Bale, Kevin De Bruyne, and Kolo and Yaya Toure were just some of the significant names that City's new owners were able to attract. With City improving every year, City's first trophy would arrive in 2011, when a Kolo Toure goal would see them win their first FA Cup in over 40 years. With that success behind them, a first Premier League title would follow in 2012, when they dramatically won the title with the final kick of a topsy-turvy game against QPR, with Sergio Aguero netting the historic winner. Although European honours would continue to elude them, a further league title would be won in 2014. But that wasn't enough for City's expectant owners, and in 2016, the City hierarchy would make a decision that would turn the fate of the club around forever. The Pep Guardiola era. It is likely that Pep Guardiola will be remembered as the game's greatest manager, and his work at City has seen him take English football to an entirely new level. Introducing his legendary tiki-taka style of play, Guardiola and City would go on to dominate English football for years, winning Premier League titles in 2018, 2019, 2021, 22, 23, and 2024. Becoming the first side to win 4 consecutive league titles, Guardiola's 2018 team would be the first in Premier League history to achieve 100 points. They would also win numerous FA and League Cup titles. However, Guardiola's and this current City side's place in history would be assured when they completed a historic treble in the 2022-2023 season, replicating the efforts of their great rivals Manchester United, who first achieved the feat back in 1999. Title favourites yet again, it is unsure as to whether Guardiola will stay at the Etihad beyond this season. Despite everything they've achieved, there is also the danger that all of their recent success will be marred. The Premier League are currently investigating City for alleged financial misdemeanors, with the Premier League investigating 115 different charges against the club. If found guilty, there is a real fear that City will see some of their titles stripped, or they could even be relegated or given heavy point deductions. With the findings set to be released in early 2025, there's an anxious wait for City and their fans for their fates to be sealed. Hoping that the verdict will go their way, City under Guardiola will always be fondly remembered. The most dominant side in English football history, City are well placed to become a titan of the game. However, all of that could be ruined if the decision doesn't go their way. Whatever comes their way, City won't be deterred, and with more European glory in their sights, and with riches and an infrastructure that few can match, despite all of their successes, there is a fear that Manchester City have only just begun.